Good afternoon. Appreciate everybody being here. Kind of wrap up last week. Really pleased with our football team. The season opener, I thought it was a great experience. Memphis showed up. All the Tiger Nation. It was one of the greatest Tiger walks that I've been a part of since I've been here. The atmosphere was incredible. The student section was great. And then our football team showed up. It was one that you go through fall camp, you go through the off season, all the preparation that goes into that to the kickoff of the season, and to see our guys, you carry that preparation over to play at a really high level. We wanted to get off to a fast start. Other than the opening kickoff where we end up getting pinned down inside the 5-yard line. Our guys came out and they responded, and it was an impressive drive. I think our first drive of the season was 13 plays, 96 yards, I believe it was, and to finish with a touchdown. And then on the flip side, to see our defense, the way that they attacked in that first half of play was incredible. To hold Mercer to, I think it was 37 yards of total offense, only one first down. I mean, we had a defensive interception for a touchdown. The energy of how our guys played, it was what we hoped to see, and I was glad they were able to execute that. In the second half, we were able to play a lot of young guys. There's many new faces that got their first experience out there on the field of the Liberty Bowl, and there's a lot of things that we can learn from. I think that the future is very bright with some of these young players that we've been able to bring into the program, and their progression of what they've been able to accomplish here in a short period of time. So, with all that being said, now our focus is 100% on our conference opener. We have to go on the road to go play in Annapolis, to play a Navy football team that has been incredible battles over the last few years, between these two programs. And I know that this team is either coming off of a difficult loss. They had to travel halfway across the world. They got off to a very uncharacteristic start. Kind of got behind early against a really impressive Hawaii group, but then just like you would expect, they responded and they made it a 10-point game there late in the matchup, and then just weren't able to finish it off. But we know we're going to get their best game. We know this is going to be a 60-minute fight, and just like it's been every time that Memphis and Navy have played each other, and so we're going to have to play our best game there on the road for us to give ourselves a chance to be successful.
Learned as a group beating them last year? What do you think you gained that will carry over this year?
I know it sounds crazy, but one, that we could. And you're playing a program. Navy's had probably one of the most consistently successful programs in the country over the last 10, 15 years. And the previous matchups had not gone well for us because we were physically just beat. And regardless of scheme, regardless of matchups. I mean, when it came down to the one-on-ones, we were not very productive in that in prior years. Last year, it was a difficult game, but it was one that I thought our defense played at a very high level. We were able to create 5 takeaways. That was a big spark in the game. But still, even with that, it was a one-score game there, very late in the contest, and it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same type of ball game. We know it's going to be back and forth. We know we have to play extremely well. We got to capitalize on every opportunity that we get. This team, they're very explosive. I mean, their quarterback Malcolm Perry is as good of an athlete and player that you'll see in our conference. He can change the game in any snap. The fact that they moved him primarily to quarterback, I think, is a tremendous weapon for their offense because of just his explosiveness. But then also they showcase their versatility with being able to move quarterback from last year all around. Amy, he can play receiver. Then he still had 3 rushing touchdowns last week. He can do so many different things, and it's going to be a heck of a chess match. And but I think being able to have that experience this last year, our guys know that we can. But we've got to go out there. We've got to earn it in our preparation, and then it's got to show up there when we kick off.
Having them early in the season, how much time did you spend on them during camp? Were you able to spend quite a bit of time?
Well, I mean, it's something that, being an earlier game, we always try to focus on those first couple opponents when you get a little extra time in camp. So we were able to introduce some thoughts, some schemes, at least show our players some of the things that we could expect to see. But really, up until Saturday, we didn't really know who we were. We have some returning starters, especially defense. We had 8 guys coming back, but to see them all go out there and operate as one, you try to build to your strength. You try to put your guys in the best position to be successful. And so, even the work that we did in the summer, or looked at them a little bit in spring ball, and that's still going to change, and you're going to tweak things as you get here to game week. You get a chance to see them with their different dynamics and on their team, and so it's going to be a great week of preparation, and I know our kids are going to be up to doing their best that we're ready to roll when come Saturday afternoon.
What do you think Brady can take away from what Cole McDonald did to their secondary, and do you think it gives them a little more confidence?
I mean, at the end of the day, our focus has got to be on ourselves and making sure that we can execute on our plan, run our plays, be able to do things that how we're going to try to put our guys in a position to be successful. And so I think you watch other teams, other schemes. I mean, you might get an idea here or there, but at the end of the day, I thought Hawaii did a phenomenal job executing. They made some great throws and catches, some wonderful runs, but a lot of those things were contested and challenging. But they did a good job of focusing on themselves. So we're going to have to do much of the same. But I know Navy's going to have a great plan for us. It'll be a great matchup.
When you prepare for a team like Navy, a particular system they run offensively, does it change when you're dealing with a guy like Perry, who's a lot quicker and more elusive than AB, or are you just still preparing for the system they run?
I think it is definitely personnel driven, and you have to be prepared for the scheme that you could see, but you also you're fully aware of the capabilities of the guy running that position. And when you have somebody as explosive as Perry, you have to ensure that, one, you're doing your initial job, but then two, that you keep him contained as much as possible. Because if he gets on the edge, or it's going to be, he's a tough guy to bring down. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's tough to tackle. And as you watch this team, the versatility of what they're able to do, and they even mixed into a little bit last year, but also this year in the first game, they get into some of the spread formations that also adds a different dynamic to their offense. And so we got to be prepared for it all.
How many guys did you end up playing in that first game, and how do you take advantage of getting that experience for those guys?
No, I don't actually have the exact number count. I know we're putting all that's tabulated somewhere, but we played a lot, and it was, I think one of the things for us, in that game is the 2-minute drill. We had 3 timeouts. We got the ball with 1 minute, 30 seconds left. It was 49-0, and I called the offense over. I said, guys, we're going to treat this as if we have no timeouts, because I want to see us operate. I wanted to do, we kind of put ourselves in a situation to where I knew if we scored a touchdown there, or even scored that second half, I was going to roll with younger guys, because we were able to execute in that situation. And so being able to go down there, and I thought our guys did a really nice job. We scored the touchdown, and then going into halftime, we approached it as the beginning of the game just with a new group of guys, and we pretty much, most of our starters at that point didn't go in, and then we were able to roll guys throughout the rest of the game, and that's what made that experience. It was so beneficial for us, because you get to see guys operate with that mindset. We still ran our offense, ran our defense, and there were a lot of things to be able to take from it.
With the new redshirt rule, the true freshmen that you played, have you guys thought ahead of how you're going to deal with each of those, like which freshmen will play more?
That's something we discussed in our pregame meeting, I guess, with all of our coaches that morning, and I definitely have a plan with each player on our team of where I think they are right now, but where they could develop to towards maybe at the end of the season. And so there's different spots there. There were a couple players I did not play in the game, with that thought process in the back of my mind. And so it is definitely unique, but what I love about it is it allows you to be more aggressive to see where guys are at. You're not hesitant to, a guy like Isaac Ellis, who played the entire second half at center, did a remarkable job. And, in years past, you would hold off on playing him at that point just because you're not unsure. But now to be able to throw him out there to see where he's at, in a game situation, if that arises here in the future, he's going to have more confidence. We're going to have more confidence because we've seen him actually go out there and operate. But I love that rule because I think it's absolutely it's beneficial for the student athlete, and it also lets them develop and stay engaged throughout this season. And it was good to see all the guys on the field.
You mentioned. Go ahead.
How's the overall health of the team compared to this time last year?
Oh, shit. You remember game 1 last year? We're much better. I saw nobody going off in carts, and nobody was there. It was last year was a challenge, but I like where we are. Sam Kraft, I didn't really get to talk to him about it much last week, but he had a minor little setback injury there last week, so wasn't able to play. But we're expecting him to be ready to roll hopefully here early in the week, and be able to put him into action here this week. But we'll see as the week progresses. But overall, there's some bumps and bruises, just like you normally will have in any game. But I feel good about where we are.
You mentioned that
Did you take anything from this game, how well they played, or just throw it out because maybe presents an entirely different challenge?
Oh, I think you can build off every experience, and in each game you're going to have a thought process of what you want to take away, how you have to communicate, how you have to operate, and our guys did that to a very high level in our first game. So there is a sense of confidence of what we can do, and regardless of who you play, regardless of what the matchup is, we're going to have a plan for this week. And we've got to go out there and execute the plan. We've got to communicate the plan. We've got to play with great fundamentals. And when you get the opportunity to make a play, we've got to make plays. And so we've got to prepare at a high level, and then it's got to show up there in Annapolis on Saturday.
You mentioned earlier that.
Let the guys see the pomp and circumstances surrounding the Navy program. Senator McCain was just buried there this week. I'm sure they haven't said anything yet, but I'm sure they'll have something in their game since it's their first game.
Well, this is a road trip for us. It is a business trip for us, and our number one focus is going to be on the game. But just like whether any of the circumstances that happened, whether they did or didn't, we've got a tremendous respect for this football team that we're playing, and for the university, for the academy. What these players and what they stand for and who they are. There's probably not a team I respect more, and it starts with the head coach all the way down top to bottom within their organization. So we know that that respect will be shown, but we're there to play a football game. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna prepare. We're gonna prepare to the best of our ability, and everybody's gonna try to put themselves in position to be successful once it's kicked off.
You mentioned earlier that you didn't know who you were as a team until Saturday. Do you have more of a sense of the team's identity now, or do you think you'll need this game or a few more to totally figure it out?
I think that was our challenge. Is I wanted to see if they could show their identity and what they want to be, and how we kicked off the season opener. And what I liked is I saw 11 guys on the field, whether it was offense, defense, or their special teams, that were playing relentless. They were playing hard. They were doing everything they could to perform their job to the best of their ability, and they were having fun doing it. And that's what I enjoyed seeing. Was it a perfect game? No, it wasn't. I mean, there's still a lot of things we got to clean up. We got to continue to build upon. I always tell people that I think the biggest growth you see in a football team is between week 1 and week 2. I thought we played well in week 1. We have to have a great jump here in week 2 if we want to have a chance to be successful. So I think they showed a little bit of how much it means to them. There were a couple plays even in the game. The young freshman, Cam Fleming, got a carry late, and the ball came out, and defender at Mercer picked it up and was taking it back. And if you go back and rewatch that play, watch the effort of our guys working to track them down, to force us to play one more play. I mean, I think Tice Daniel might have made the tackle, or Kenny Gainwell. There's 3 or 4 guys that are just relentless in their pursuit, and that makes me proud. because I know it means something to them. And so these kids, they work extremely hard, 365 days a year for these 12 guaranteed opportunities. And so we've got to have a great jump this week with conference play beginning. But I know they love this program. They love their teammates, and so that part of the identity showed. But we've got to continue to build.
Coach, what do you think you learned between your backups with Brian and Cole Hayter out there?
It was fun to watch those guys. I enjoy that probably as much as anything. You see the young quarterbacks go in, not really knowing what to expect. There's some good, some bad. I got to yell at them a little bit, which I always like, but I thought they did well. I really did, and then you can see that there's a sense of confidence. Brady had a couple plays that maybe fundamentally could have done a couple things differently, but he's still able to extend it and maybe take a late throw, or he had to pull the ball down and scramble a little bit, which was nice to see. And there were some mistakes that he gets to build from. But I think that both those guys are going to be great quarterbacks in the future, and to be able to get them experience early, you never know when their number might be called, but I know they'll be able to build off that.
Mike, it seems like a small thing, but the first game in that new locker room, what was it like with the players and just how fired up they were?
That was no small thing.
Okay.
That locker room, you walk in that facility, and it was I know I mentioned after that performance was a big thank you to Memphis, because Memphis has invested in this program and has invested into our university and the support that we have. The people there. I mean, when you walk into that locker room, that facility, I mean, it's overwhelming, and it's overwhelming because you see the commitment to progression, and we don't take that lightly. We understand that we are every time we step on that field, we're an advertisement for this community, and so we want to make them proud of how we play. And I hope that the city enjoyed it, that game, that experience, because we're so very grateful for what they've done for us.
So you think it puts a little extra giddy up in the step of the players? I mean,
It puts a little extra giddy up in my step.
I know it does yours.
It does. I mean, because you see the value. I mean, I don't know if you might want me telling, but I mean, when we walked in that locker room on the reveal on Friday, I watched Jacksonville. And this young man has been in this program for a long time, Sam Kraft. And those guys, everybody's running in, jumping, excited. Most of you've seen the video. It's pretty special. Then you watch those two guys. They've been through the experience. They came to Memphis when Memphis might not have been the place, the destination that everybody wanted to be a part of at that time. They wanted to be a part of changing a culture. They wanted to be a part of building a program. They've accomplished that. And when you walk into that locker room, you could see the emotions just all through them. And both of them came out and gave me a hug and just said thank you. Well, it's not. I mean, we're trying to continue to build and progress. But they see the commitment that's been made to this program. There's no other player in the future recruit, anybody that's going to ever come into this program, hoping that there will be a commitment. There is that expectation. And that's something that we take a great deal of pride in as a coaching staff, as players. We have to earn that. It's been put in place. There's so many things within this community that are growing, that are benefiting from the way that we have played as a football team. And we've got to continue to sustain that. We've got to continue to elevate that. And so there is a great deal of pride when it goes into things like that being done.